I don't think we meditate to escape. I don't think we meditate for the sake of meditation. I think we meditate to be better at life. How many of you guys, just out of curiosity, before I dive into the 3 M's, how many of you have already heard my story? I don't want to bore you if most of you have heard it. And just how many have not heard it? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell it. Those of you who have heard it before, you can fact check me, see if I'm lying. Okay, so I found meditation about 10 or 11 years ago at the end of my Broadway career. As Mia said, I was on Broadway for 10 years. It was amazing. It's what I wanted to do since I was a child. I mean, since I was like 8 years old, I was reading the newspaper in my mother's bathroom on the floor. I saw an ad for this theater, and I was like, oh, Mom, I need to go there. I'm going to be an actress. And I knew it like 8. So anyway, I thought that once I got on Broadway, that my whole life was going to be sunshine and roses. I mean, I was picturing martinis with Liza at Sardi's, and instead it was like girls eating tuna fish out of a can and complaining about their bunions. And I was like, this is not my dream. And so I thought that my happiness must be in like the next Broadway show, or like the next boyfriend, or the next agent, or the next zero in my bank account. And I did that. I was in what I call the I'll be happy when syndrome for about 10 years. And then finally, my last Broadway show was a chorus line. And my job was to understudy 3 of the lead roles. Now, if you don't know what that means, it means you show up to the theater and you have no idea which character you're going to play that night. So sometimes I would start the show as one character, and halfway through they would switch me to a different character. Or I'd just be chilling in my dressing room doing my taxes, and someone would get on a loudspeaker and be like, Emily, Fletcher, we need you on stage. And I would start panicking because I wouldn't know which costume to put on, so I would just grab all 3 of my leotards, run down 7 flights of stairs, someone would put me in an outfit, and then I'm not kidding you guys, sometimes I would be on stage before I knew who I was. I was like, oh, there's no Val, so I guess I'm Val, and just into tits and ass. I was not a stripper. That's the name of a song. So it was basically leading to like a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, and I started going gray at the tender age of 26 years old. I started having insomnia. I couldn't sleep through the night for 18 months. I started getting sick and injured, and to be honest, I was embarrassed about my performance. And this is like, so you're like, poor little Broadway star. So it's not a complaint, but it is really embarrassing to be on stage in front of 2,000 people just sucking and knowing that you're sucking, and there's like nothing you can do about it. And then the worse you are, the worse your sleep is, and the worse your sleep is, the worse your performance is, and it just became this spiral of anxiety. And finally, I was like, this is not me. This is not who I am. This is not what I know I can do in the world. And so thankfully, this amazing woman was sitting next to me. She was understudying 5 of the lead roles, which to this day, I don't know how she did it, but this woman was crushing it. Every dance, every song, every bite of food was a celebration. She'd be like, oh, this is sensational. She was Australian. Meditation does not give you a bad Australian accent. And I was like, excuse me, what do you know that I don't know? And she said, I meditate. And I was like, oh, God, one of you. I was like, just probably rolled my eyes. And because this was 11 years ago, there was not the neuroscience then that there is now. Now, you guys in this room might have already been on the tip by then, but most of the world was not. I certainly was not. And so I didn't believe her. I just kept sucking at my job, going gray and having insomnia. And then finally, I was so embarrassed, I thought, well, I got to try something. So I went along to this intro to meditation talk. I liked what I heard. I signed up for this course. On the first day of the first course, I was meditating. I had no idea what that meant, but I was in a different state of consciousness than I had ever been in before, and I liked it. And then that night, I slept through the night for the first time in 18 months. And I have every night since, and that was almost 11 years ago. Then I stopped getting sick. I went 8.5 years without getting sick. And then I had my bachelorette party, and I really earned that one. I stopped going gray. I'm 38 years old now. I have like 2 gray hairs, which I promptly pluck out. But I was legitimately going gray like 10 years ago. I stopped getting injured, but most importantly, I started enjoying my job again. I started performing at the level that I knew I was capable of. And so I thought, why does everybody not do this? It's so delicious feeling. It's so easy. It's not that expensive. And it just changes every single part of your life. So I left Broadway. I went to India for a while, not 10 years. I'm not that hardcore. And I started, and then I started Ziva meditation, which has been the best thing I've ever done. And people ask me if I miss performing, and the answer is no. I'm still performing. I'm just using now my lifetime of performance training, but more directly to help other people. And selfishly, why I do do what I do is that I love waking up to emails from my students every day saying, Emily, my insomnia is gone. My IBS is gone. I got off my meds. I haven't had a panic attack since I started meditating. I broke up with that ding-dong head. I started writing that book. This is my new favorite one. I got a $120,000 scholarship that I did not apply for. Those results are not guaranteed. I think you actually have to apply. But if you apply, your chances go way up. Okay, so that's my story. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about the 3 M's. What are the 3 M's? Mindfulness, meditation, and manifesting. And these 3 M's have really become the trifecta that is the Ziva technique, which is what I teach. And I want to start really by focusing on the difference between mindfulness and meditation, because a lot of us are using these terms as synonyms, and they're not actually the same thing, okay? I mean, how many people have heard people just use the terms mindfulness and meditation interchangeably, right? So here's how I would define mindfulness. And P.S., I'm sure you ask another meditation teacher, and they will give you another definition, but just see if you like this one. So mindfulness I would define as the art of bringing your awareness into the present moment. Beautiful, right? The art of bringing your awareness into the present moment. And we could all practice that right now, right? And let's just do it, right? Just close your eyes. You don't even have to put your pens down. Just close your eyes and just take a big, delicious inhale. And exhale. So good. And this time as you inhale, I want you to actually feel the breath as it enters your nostrils. And as you exhale, I want you to feel the tactile sensation as it exits your nostrils. Really good. And open your eyes. So that was like a mindful moment, right? That was one mindful breath where we brought our awareness into this moment, into the right now. Very powerful, okay? Especially in this age where we've become bulimic of the brain, right? We're just constantly ingesting information via technology. Now, most of the apps out there, most of the YouTube videos, most of the drop-in meditation studios are teaching what I would put in the category of mindfulness. So anytime you are directing your focus, anytime you are doing a guided visualization, anytime you're focusing on your breath, counting your breath, visualizing your chakras, imagining a waterfall, I would put that in the category of mindfulness, right? Waking state, left brain practice. And you're directing your focus. Now, this is an interesting time to be alive because neuroscience is catching up to what these Indian dudes have been saying for 6,000 years. And now, not only can we prove that meditation is good for you, but now we can start to prove how different styles of meditation are impacting the brain differently. So in mindfulness, where you're directing your focus, a smaller part of the brain lights up very, very bright, right? Which is sort of indicative to how mindfulness is helpful to you. If you practice mindfulness, you notice that you get very good at like focusing on tasks. You get very good at like putting one foot in front of the other and being very present where you are right here, right now. Now, mindfulness is also derivative of styles of meditation that were originally made for monks. Right? And I actually think that it's why a lot of people think that meditation is hard, because people like us, and if you think you might be a monk, you need to talk to me because I'm going to send you on a different program. But people like us, people with busy minds and busy lives, people who live in society, if we're trying to practice styles of meditation that were originally designed for monks, then it feels sort of hard, and it feels a little bit like, why can't I clear my mind? And why is this so... And like Mia was talking about, she was just like frustrating and fidgeting and just like, I suck at meditation and I quit. So mindfulness is a little bit more disciplined. We're coming back, we're coming back, we're coming back. And a smaller part of the brain is lighting up, but very, very bright. But mindfulness, what mindfulness is best at is dealing with your stress in the right now. Like my boss yelled at me today, I got a little stressed, let me listen to my app, I feel better in the right now. Like I have a headache, I take an aspirin, I feel better in the right now, okay? That's the first M, mindfulness. Now let's talk about the second M, meditation. And I want, for a moment, I'm going to ask you guys a favor, and I want you to take everything you've ever heard about meditation, and I want you to throw it out the window just for these next few minutes that we have together. Let's just go into this with beginner's mind and see if we don't learn something new. Again, if you disagree or you think I'm full of hogwash, then that's fine. You don't have to accept this for the rest of your life, but let's just see if this makes sense to you. Meditation, as I would define it, is basically when we're accessing a verifiable fourth state of consciousness. So different than waking, different than sleeping, and different than dreaming. Okay, right now, hopefully, I haven't put you to sleep yet. Hopefully right now we're all in our waking state of consciousness, right? Which is different than where we are when we're sleeping, different than where we are when we're dreaming. When you start to cultivate a meditation practice, you actually move into a fourth state of consciousness, okay? And in this state of consciousness, the right and left hemispheres of the brain start to function in unison. And this is important because your left brain is in charge of the past and the future, and your right brain is in charge of the right now. I'm going to say that again. Left brain, past, future. Right brain, right now. Left brain, critical thought. Right brain, creative thought. Left brain, I suck, I'm going to die alone with cats eating my face. Right brain, write that book. Call that guy. Start that company. Okay, so we actually want to have both of these guys functioning at the same time, right brain and left brain. So when we start meditating, we're accessing this fourth state of consciousness. And when I say that it's like a verifiable state of consciousness, what I mean is that if you were to hook your brain up to an EEG machine, which is electroencephalography hardware, there are 8 classic points on the right brain and 8 classic points on the left. And in waking, sleeping, and dreaming states of consciousness, the right and left hemispheres of the brain are functioning separately. But in this fourth state of consciousness, all 16 leads of EEG rise and fall in unison, which I think is a pretty cool party trick that you sitting quietly in a chair could actually change your brain signature. But why would I want that to happen? Well, everyone should, right? Because left brain is past future, right brain is right now. We want these things talking to each other. Now, when you start meditating, instead of a small part of the brain lighting up like it does in mindfulness, the whole brain lights up, and that starts to increase something called neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change itself. It also increases something called neurogenesis, which is the brain's ability to generate new brain cells. Okay, and that's happening because you have this whole brain cohesion happening when you're doing this practice, okay? So again, cool party trick, but why? So when the whole brain lights up, the right and left brains are talking to each other, and that strengthens and thickens something called the corpus callosum. Now, the corpus callosum is the white strip that connects the right and left hemispheres of the brain, and we've known for a long time that meditators have thicker corpus callosums than non-meditators, but we weren't able to prove if it was causal or correlated. But now we know that the longer you meditate, the thicker this thing becomes, which suggests that it is in fact causal. It suggests that it is the meditation that is thickening the corpus callosum. So great, why would I want a fat corpus callosum? Because it is the very thing that allows you to come up with a creative problem-solving idea even in the middle of a high-demand situation. Okay, so your boss is yelling at you, you get kind of stressed, and it's like, I don't know, I'm sorry, goodbye. Or you get into a fight with your partner, and it gets pretty heated, and then it gets really heated, and then eventually you just shut down and retreat to the bedroom. And about 2 hours later, you start coming up with all these hilarious, witty comebacks, and you're like, why? Why couldn't I have thought of that in the moment? Well, my hypothesis is that the thicker your corpus callosum is, the easier it is for you to come up with all those witty comebacks when it counts. Right? Because none of you guys care how hilarious or amazing or enlightening I was last night in my hotel room when I was making my notes for this. It doesn't matter. It matters how well I perform right now. And we really need the combination of left brain and right brain happening simultaneously. Also, I don't think that nature makes mistakes. And if you look at a human brain, it's actually 50-50. Right? Why would nature have given us 50-50 if it wanted us to use 90-10? And yet that's what most of us are doing. We're thinking, we're taking action, we're achieving, we're making money so we can be happy in the future. We think, we take action, we achieve, we make money so we can be happy in the future. And meanwhile, our poor little right brain is over here like, I have a creative idea. I have a suggestion. You're like, shut up, right brain. I gotta think and take action and achieve and make money so I can be happy in the future. And so what we start doing, I'm gonna take a little water break now. Actual workout. I don't work out too much when I'm pregnant. So what we do when we meditate, and again, this is like Emily Fletcher's definition of meditation and what I teach at Ziva, is that you're given a mantra. Okay, now this term mantra has also been hijacked by the wellness industry. A lot of people think that the term mantra is like, I'm a strong, angry woman, or like, I want $1 million. And I would call those affirmations, if you want to be a strong, angry woman, or slogans or log lines. And those are really powerful tools as well, but I just wouldn't call them mantras. Mantra is actually a Sanskrit word. Man means mind, and trup means vehicle. So a mantra is actually a mind vehicle, and these mind vehicles are custom designed to de-excite the nervous system. They're custom designed to take you into more subtle states of consciousness so that you can start to access your bliss and fulfillment in the only place that they reside, which is inside of you. Right? And every spiritual text has been saying this since the beginning of time. What you seek is in you. The kingdom of heaven is within. And that is a beautiful intellectual concept to get in your brain, but it's a lot more powerful to be able to experience that every day, twice a day, physically, viscerally, in your bones, in your cells, in your body. And that, in no uncertain terms, is what meditation does for you. It's giving you access to your fulfillment inside of you. Now, that's sort of like the esoteric definition, but what's happening neurochemically is that within 30 to 45 seconds of you starting, your brain and body flood with dopamine and serotonin. Now, dopamine and serotonin are bliss chemicals, so that feels nice when it's happening, but if that's all it did for you, then it's no better than any other drug, right? You just want to feel good for 20 minutes, you could go take some acid or something. It's a lot longer than 20 minutes. Not that I would know, you guys. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you just want to feel good while you're meditating, that's just escapism. And if you want to escape, you could drink some wine, you can watch some Netflix, there's lots of things you can do to just escape. I don't think we meditate to escape. I don't think we meditate for the sake of meditation. I think we meditate to be better at life. No one gives a crap if you're a good meditator. And I'm really mad about that because I'm very competitive and I really would like to be the world's best meditator. No one cares. Really, nobody cares if you're a good meditator. Everybody cares if you're good at life. How kind are you? How compassionate are you? How present are you? How's your sleep? How's your sex? How's your parking karma? How creative are you? Did I say that? Probably. So parking karma is really good, and it legitimately gets better when you start meditating. You're just like, thank you. So what we're doing, right, is that we're using tools, and you could use a mantra. There are other tools that you could use, but I like using mantras, right? And you de-excite the nervous system, you de-excite your body, and you induce not only that fourth state of consciousness that I was talking about, you not only access that bliss and fulfillment inside of you, but you also start to get rid of a lifetime of accumulated stresses. Okay? Because when you give your body the rest that it needs, when you're giving your body that deep healing rest that's 2 to 5 times deeper than sleep, then the body knows how to heal itself. And one of the things that it heals itself from is stress. Okay? And not only your stress from today, but all your stress from the past. That dog that barked in your face when you were 10, your parents' divorce when you were 12, that breakup when you were 16, that college you didn't get into, that job you got fired from, that stuff is stored in your cellular memory. Like it or not. Every Taco Bell you've ever eaten, every Jack Daniels you've ever drunk, that's in your cells. And so that stuff has to go somewhere. And in my experience, when you practice meditation, when you give your body this deep healing rest, you're handling not only the stress from the right now, but actually purging and creating a catharsis from all your stress from the past. And that's actually the thing that up-levels your performance capabilities. So the analogy that I like to use here is that of a computer. Okay, so if you imagine your brain as a computer, every single time you've ever been stressed in your entire life, it's left a little open window on your brain machine. It's something called a premature cognitive commitment, or a PCC, and by the time the average human is 20 years old, we have approximately 10 million PCCs in our brain. 10 million. So let's just imagine you're at work one day typing an email and you're like, I'm gonna take a break. I deserve a break today. And you open up a little Facebook, a little YouTube, a little Twitter, a little Instagram, a little Vine, a little Hulu. And let's just say for the sake of argument that you could open 10 million windows on your computer, and then your boss walks by and you're like, oh crap, let me pretend like I'm working. And you go back to type an email. And the cursor is about 20 spaces behind. And you're like, oh, stupid computer, can't even type an email. It's like, well, actually, that computer is plenty capable of typing an email, but if you're using all of its computing power to run those 10 million irrelevant windows, then you don't have the full computing power for the task at hand, right? And this is exactly what stress is doing for us. I get some pushback on this because I like to work with high performers. I like to work with high achievers. So far, I've taught Oscar, Grammy, Tony, Emmy, and Golden Globe winners to meditate, which I'm really proud of. So I like to work with people who are like doing big things in the world, and I get pushback from them. They're like, Emily, I need my stress. Like my CEO clients are like, Emily, I need my stress. That's the thing that gives me my competitive edge. And my actor clients are like, Emily, I need my stress. My hurdy poos, that's where my art comes from. And I'm like, no, false. This is BS. I call BS on this. Stress makes you stupid. Really, truly, stress makes you stupid. I'm going to make a t-shirt soon. It also makes you sick, and it makes you slow. Okay, there's some new science coming out from Harvard Medical School suggesting that somewhere between 80 to 90% of all doctor's visits are related to stress. 80 to 90% of all doctor's visits are stress-related. Scientists are calling stress the black plague of our century. So we could complain about that, and we could stress out about people being stressed, or we could start lighting some candles, and we could start meditating. We could start up-leveling our own state of consciousness to contribute to up-leveling the collective, right? So let's do a quick recap, right? We've got mindfulness, which is a directed form of meditation, or like a directed focused style mental technique, more of a left brain waking state. Anytime you're doing like a guided visualization, focusing on your breath, mindfulness, more derivative of monastic styles of meditation. Then we have what I would call meditation, where you're accessing this fourth state of consciousness, increasing that brain cohesion, inducing that deep rest that's 2 to 5 times deeper than sleep, which feels really nice. Like it feels sort of like a nap sitting up. It looks kind of like this. And then you feel really energized and refreshed on the other side. And you've gotten rid of some of those old stresses from your past on the other side. So mindfulness, very good at dealing with your stress in the now. Meditation, very good at dealing with your stress from the past. Now let's move into the third M, manifesting. Right? Now, you guys are Mindvalley folks, so I know that you're probably expert manifestors. But it's relatively new to me. And I started teaching it because I started realizing that when I was giving people these tools of meditation, they started to have quite incredible manifesting powers, but they really didn't know what to do with it. They were like a toddler running around with a torch, and they're like, these things are just showing up, and I don't really know why or how. And so I just wanted to start giving people a bit of a structure around it. And I get some pushback from my like high achievers. I live in New York, and so I get some pushback from my like hard driving New Yorkers, and like, oh God, you want me to manifest? What, you want me to just like get high and like secret my dreams? And no, that's not what manifesting means, as you guys all know. I would define manifesting as consciously creating a life you love. Simple, right? It's consciously creating a life you love. It's taking the time to get clear about what it is that you actually want in your life, and taking the time to place the order with the cosmic waitress at the cosmic restaurant. She's ready to serve, right? She's ready and willing to serve, but a lot of us aren't taking the time to actually place the order. And I know I'm probably preaching to the converted in this room, but it's amazing to me how many people I meet in a day, and I ask them, well, what's your dream job? How much money do you want to be making? What do you want your relationship to look like? How do you want your relationship with your body to feel? And they're just like, I'm not making enough money right now, and my husband doesn't understand any of this stuff. And so it's like they immediately go to the complaint. When I ask them what they want, it's like they can't even articulate it without starting with the complaint. And so we think we're manifesting. We've tricked ourselves into thinking that we're manifesting, but actually we're just like, I just want to lose weight. I just need more money. Why do I just need a boyfriend? And why does she have a boyfriend? It's not fair. When am I gonna? And we're just complaining and confusing it with manifesting. And it doesn't work that way. The nature feels like insulted, right? So to me, manifesting is really like, it's as simple as placing an order at a restaurant. Like, imagine how ridiculous it would be to walk into a restaurant, sit down, your waitress comes up, and she's like, hi, what can I get you? And you're like, food. You're like, yes, absolutely. What would you like? Food. I'm so hungry. Can you please bring me some food? I'm pregnant. I really need some food. And she's like, yes, what would you like? Look, she has salad. Why don't I have salad? When are you going to bring me my food? I'm starving here. And she's just like, okay. And she walks away, and then maybe she brings you some bread. And you're like, I didn't even want bread. I don't eat gluten. What am I supposed to do with this? And it's like, well, if you would just place the effing order, she will bring you what you want, right? And so manifesting is that's one piece of it, right? Getting specific and placing the order. But what I have found is that the combination of meditation and manifesting is infinitely more powerful than either one alone, right? Because you can meditate all day, but if you're not clear about what it is that you want, then it's very hard for nature to give it to you. And conversely, you could make vision boards all day long, but if you don't believe that you deserve your dream, it ain't coming.